What is up? We got NFL Showdown today. My Cleveland Browns, baby. I get to talk about the Cleveland Browns, and guess what? Big T, Tambo, you guys just get to sit there, shut up, and listen to me as I friggin' just talk about how good my Browns are. I can't wait for this showdown today. It's going to be great. Browns, Broncos. I mean, everyone's going to say, oh, shitty game, blah, blah, blah. We got Case Keenum versus Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know how you couldn't be more excited, Tambo. I mean, what the fuck?
What? I was going to say the opposite. Every time you come on talking about this slate, man, I don't like it. These games suck, and I pump you up. I say, nah, this is an island game. We're going to get something crazy. Just wait. You just wait, JSU, and then the Ravens pop off and comebacks from down 30, whatever it might be that we've seen this season. And then we get this one. I'm opposite of you for this one. This one's horrible, but there's still a lot of money to be won. There's $1 million up top. We're degenerates. I am especially, so I'm absolutely in regardless.
That's right. Big T, we're in. I mean, Tony, I know you're excited. Don't lie. I know you want to play some Case Keenum, some Mitchell Schwartz, some Donovan Peoples-Jones, maybe some backup tight ends. Tight ends have been shipping in Showdown. I mean, Tony, what are we doing here? A little Harrison Bryant? So many good Cleveland Brown plays today.
Yeah, I mean, I always like it when you go on Twitter and you see all these cash donkeys that can't think, like bitch about the slate. That's my favorite. Whenever you go on there and all the cash donkeys are complaining, that means it's going to be a great slate for us. And that's what it is tonight. Everyone like, oh, it's such a bad slate. I don't have all these obvious plays. Ah. I love it because we're going to ship tonight. We're going to break the schneid. We haven't got a full-blown ship. I don't think. Has anyone shipped outright? Probably. Yeah, our boy Matt got a huge one. Still wasn't outright, but huge one. The other dude got 250. But on this show, one of us three is getting a big guy tonight.
Oh, I love that. I got the nice chop with K Falik that night for 6K, but that's terrible.
That was a Millie hit, you said. Go back to that joke. I mean, you bring that joke back.
That joke's retired, Tony. That joke's retired, buddy.
I'm going to use it tonight when I chop. I'm going to bring it right back out. I'm going to say, Tambo, got the second Millie ship, baby.
It wouldn't have been bad if you could get the TOC seat out of it, but when you don't, it's not a four-man like our boy Matt S. was trying to figure out. Makes it a lot more difficult when it's 240 people deep.
God, Matt S. played the Dusty. He sent me the dustiest team for that four-man when I seen it. Didn't he play like did you see who he played?
I forget now but he did.
It was the Rams. He played the backup running back.
I think he might have played Van Jefferson or I can't remember Jackson, one of those two.
But I remember dude from the Patriots. Who's the running back that came from the Patriots? The backup.
Oh, Sony Michel.
Yeah, Sony freaking Michel. Good.
He took JSU's advice. JSU went on a big speech at the end of
JSU gave him play with your heart, man. No, JSU, you gave him the Sony Michel play. Oh,
wait a second. If I remember correctly, Sony Michel got in the box in that game.
No, he didn't. He scored like 6 or something.
No, JSU gave him
we're talking about a different game, man.
No,
it was about like play with your heart.
He was talking. So wait, was that the game where we did the show and I got made fun of because someone called me Siege, and then Sony Michel actually was on the winner? That was the day I got called Siege. Remember? Because you actually backed me, Tony, for the first time ever on this show. You had my back and you said, no, that's different. That's not what he's talking about. Because I said to people, Darrell Henderson goes in and out of games all the time. If he were to get hurt in Showdown, Sony Michel becomes a great play because they have no other running backs. And they're just going to give them, they use one running back. So that's what I said. He ended up.
That is all correct. I do remember now. It's all coming back to me. That is correct.
And he was on the winner, I'm pretty sure, of the Showdown slate because he scored that touchdown. So
could be.
I don't know.
Definitely could be. I don't know what I wasn't making a good point anyways. So
no, someone else, Dusty, was on the squad that didn't get there, and that was more my point. Is JSU gave him like a nice speech to play with your heart, and GFS is all about doing what's best for your soul. And all these things that we just were like, pick winners, let's go. And
Tony will pretend he doesn't remember because he's wrong. That's not what this is at all. I admit it. Like, oh, don't make me dig this game up. Okay, I'll freaking dig it up. You guys, I didn't want to do it. I was already content moving on, but now I'm looking it up because you guys made me mad.
Drew A., thank you for calling out Tony, 1. And then 2, telling me I was right because I was right. So thank you for reminding me of this because I love being right. And I love when Tony's wrong or when he forgets. Either way, wrong or forget. I love being right, and I love when Tony's wrong or forgets. It just makes me feel good inside.
Darrell Henderson had 17 DK points. Sony Michel had 11.
Yes. And if you remember, Sony Michel was like 1K. And
yeah, he was
really
like, yeah.
cheap. Yeah. That was the
Stafford
only
had
reason why
20. Woods had 30.
Oh, that was the Woods pop-off game.
Yeah.
Which I will give
Seattle
you credit.
sucked.
You called. I'll give you credit on that. You called that.
Don't be giving me credit. You guys just made fun of me. Bullshit.
No, what's bullshit is
at least Tambo knows how to get a haircut, though. Tambo, look at that hair.
Calendar that I work hard on, and you don't even look at it. That's what's bullshit, people. I work on a show calendar. I put sweat and tears and blood into that show calendar, and Tony don't even look at it. He didn't even know the show was at 4 today or 3:45.
I want Tambo to pull his background down and show us what he's working with behind him. I like that shows what a working man he is. The dude's sitting on like a TV box with the friggin' crates behind him.
There's the drywall and shit up against the wall.
Ooh, that's a lot of white.
The boxes all set up.
Get JSU over there to get Mayo over there to help you paint. I mean, you need some paint up in there. Get Mangone, paint it like the gymnasium, like Mangone.
No,
Tony, that's called good lighting. That's good lighting. It makes it reflect as if it's white. It's actually a beautiful, soft gray, really modern, actually, really upgraded.
I like that. Fucking love that, actually.
Yeah.
It's better than how it looked last time you sent me a picture of where you were. So it's improvement, Tambo.
Yeah. I don't want to sidetrack this thing and lose the camera action, but check this out, though.
What is it? You're in the garage. Oh,
look
that's
at the garbage, man.
I didn't know you were in the garage, though, too. Man. I thought you were in a room. You're in the garage.
I'm in the same prison cell Bobby Gomes was in last Sunday when he was being held hostage with no lighting and bad mic.
Except the lighting is way better.
And the mic is way better as well. You got the mic and the lighting. You're nothing like what Bobby Gomes was in.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Bobby's so lost.
All right, boys. All right. We don't have a ton of time to dick around, so let's get into this showdown slate. I want to talk about this game a little because I think no matter which way you shake it, I think it's a very interesting game. If anything, from a betting side for sure, because you look at this game and Cleveland is down so many players. Obviously the quarterback is hurt. Odell is iffy to play. Landry's coming back. That's confirmed. So that's a good boost, I guess, for Cleveland. But they're down both running backs and offensive linemen or two, I'm pretty sure. A lot of guys out. And the line, Tony, you called me on this yesterday when you called me and you were like, I still can't believe that the Broncos aren't favored in this game. And they're still not. I mean, what do you think of this line right now?
It's crazy, but it just speaks to me how bad I think the Denver team is. That's all it can really be is just, for one, they've just destroyed me the last few weeks. Like, I thought they were good a couple weeks ago. They were 3-0. They've been so terrible the last 3 weeks. So they're definitely bad. They might have even quit on the coach. I don't think they like Fangio all that much. So that's the unknown factor. But if you just look at the players, I mean, it's crazy that Denver is an underdog in this game when Cleveland's got the skeleton team out there. But the lines are always sharp. So it tells me that the odds makers don't respect Denver at all, or they just see like a blatant mismatch that we might be missing. I don't know. Maybe the D line or something's going to beat up the O line, or I don't know what it is because it hasn't stuck out to me yet. But I don't know. I think it's a weird line, but I'd also be a little cautious with it just because Denver does suck. So I wouldn't like go and bet your house on Denver.
Tambo, I mean, before I get into the matchup, what do you think of the line? Did it stick out to you like crazy, like Tony's saying? It
doesn't make a lot of sense. I was worried a little bit because Big T threw out all them teasers yesterday. And I was feeling them. So I went and hit them all up, ready to go.
No, the thing about the teasers, though, Tambo, is you bet it. You take your feelings always out of those teasers and you just stick to the system.
Oh, I know that. Yeah. It's good. That's what I'm saying. You got the great numbers on all those games. This game popped up nice. I just think it's a spot where then I saw today on Twitter, a guy has like 1.3 million with a 600K cash out riding on it. I think we're good against that. So
Why
I
do
feel
these
pretty
people
good.
not take that cash out? I don't, especially on this game.
Well, this
That is
guy's
the
allowed to
easiest
middle
cash
though.
out ever.
This guy literally I'm on, I don't always hedge or anything, but this spot here, he can actually middle it. So I would definitely be
What would the
putting it
middle
in.
like? What's he got left? Cleveland
I think
money line?
I think he needs them to win. I think if Cleveland wins by a point, he could still win both bets. So it's not likely, but that's why I would be doing it, because it's not even a full on hedge. He literally could win all the coin, like all the money. So I think that's a good spot to do it. But I don't know what the situation is for them. If they got that kind of money to put down in the first place, maybe they just don't care. But I would definitely be interested in some of that cash. Same if all these NFTs fly off the handle. I'll be taking all that cash at the top. Forget about trying to go to the next level. Just collect dough and take your money.
I agree.
Yeah. So Tony was talking about, there must be something that we're missing or with this line, because there's definitely an advantage. I think that, right now, Cleveland, it looks like from the injury report that there's a shot that Jedrick Wills, who practiced in limited fashion on Wednesday, JC Treader, the center, who practiced limited Wednesday, but didn't practice the other 2 days. If they were to play, I think that would give them a bump to their offensive line. That's already really good. Jack Conklin also falls in that boat where he practiced limited Wednesday, but didn't practice the other 2 days. Those are 3 offensive linemen right there. Good offensive linemen too, especially Jedrick Wills and Conklin. So if they were to play, I think the way you beat the Broncos is you run right at those edge rushers. You run right out those guys. You slow them down. You make them think twice about going when you're running right at them. That's how you kind of slow up guys like Von Miller, Khalil Mack, those just stud pass rushers that just want to get to the quarterback. You just make them slow down a little, focusing on the run. I think Cleveland has an advantage there, even though they don't have their 2 best running backs. I think if those offensive linemen were to play, that would give them a boost in that offensive line versus defensive line standpoint. Broncos secondary, I thought was going to be amazing coming into the year. I don't know if I'm wrong or if just Tony is right and they just seem to have quit on their coach. Maybe Tony's right. I haven't thought about that, but you might be right, Tony, because this secondary, on paper at least, in talent wise, should be way better than what they've been to start this year. And I'm just kind of confused by it. And now you got Case Keenum and a bunch of secondary guys like Peoples-Jones, who I think has talent, Schwartz, Jarvis Landry, who's a solid guy, but no Baker Mayfield. I don't know how to, do I go on my beliefs that the Broncos are better on defense and that's Fangio's strength and it was just a couple bad games they played? Or are they not as good as I thought? It might be that they're not as good as I thought, and I'm kind of leaning that way for this game, but I don't know. Like, I could be wrong. That's where I'm struggling. I don't know if you guys, Tony, I don't know if you have a take on that.
No, I mean, I don't have any good takes with Denver. Just looks bad to me. But Cleveland looks bad too. So it's just one of those games that makes it a great showdown game, in my opinion, because there's lots of ways you can go. We even got weather on top of it. We got a 40 total. People are going to play the defenses, which makes the slate even better because we're just going to keep fading them. At least I am, and I know Tambo is. JSU, yes. I'm assuming is. But I love these slates where the defenses, when people don't know who to play, I mean, people are going to play these Ds. They're going to take their chances. And the problem with these teams has been their defenses the last couple of weeks have been bad. So I could see points, and we got enough dudes in here to play. It's almost like a preseason slate where you play a few of these other guys, and that's what I'm good at. I'm good at like these niche sports, finding some paths with some scrub guys, and I like it. I mean, I don't have a ton of conviction about the game. I do have all those Denver teasers, which I do like. I think the game will play close. I don't see it being a blowout. I think it'll be a somewhat close game and maybe even like into the 20s each, 27, 24, 30, 27. I think we might see more points than people think just because of how ugly the game is. And I'm good with it.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's the only thing I'm worried about is that side of it. Like I said to JSU actually before you hopped on pre-show, I was just saying This literally could be the 6-0 game or the 7-0 game where they just pull it off. Like, it just doesn't seem like there's going to be any way for it. I don't care about the weather as much. I know some people dial into that. It matters some, sure, but not something I'm going to chase, especially on a 1-game sample. Like Big T said, you could have where these teams just are so bad that they become good in the sense that the defenses are bad, and it becomes good for fantasy and scoring. But JSU, I'm surprised you hopped on this show talking about your Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
This could literally be Javante's game that we've been waiting for. This could be the spot, the island game. And everyone, you've been trying to make this guy
Tambo,
work.
this is where I struggle because I've been so high on. I was high on the Denver defense day one, like before the season started. I was high on Javonte Williams. I'm high on the Cleveland team as a whole. I'm struggling here with these two teams because of the fact that I might be wrong on certain things. I'm not wrong on Javonte Williams, though. I will stand by that. That dude is a monster. He will be a monster in this league at some point. He'll be a lead horse at some point. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe it is next year. I think it'll be this year at some point, but I think he's really good. So yeah, I think this could be a Javonte game.
Could be the spot right here. This could be it. This could be your guy.
They're giving him touches, right, Tambo? And Teddy Bridgewater's hurt. He's banged up. When your quarterback's banged up, you're going to lean more on the run game, right? Especially in a game like this. You got a little wind in it. You're on a short week, right? That's another thing that people need to talk about, these short weeks where we've seen teams not look as good on these short weeks. I think that both these teams want to lean on the run game, and it's just going to be a matter of who can execute and kind of hold their ground, because I agree with Tony that this game is going to stay close. The question is, are there points scored back and forth? Is it just more of a sluggish, really boring, like Tambo said, like 9-6 game or something like random?
It might not be that dusty, but I'm just dreading it because we haven't really got a bad island game yet that we used to see all the time, where we would get this Thursday night football game and be like, oh, I remember what Thursdays are like. We're waiting for that to happen, and this feels like the one it could finally happen, but I don't know, man. Wide receiver is just as tough. You go look at it, Sutton's there, Landry's back, things like that, but then do you want to chase the Peoples-Jones spot where he went off and just lit up the classic slate? It's just really tough, and there's not a lot of other guys down there. John Brown is back at $200. I don't know if you can go back to him, but there's a lot of guys that you could play. It doesn't feel good playing very many of them.
Don't forget too, Jarvis Landry's back. Jarvis Landry is going to be fed, I think, in the short passing game, especially with the wind the way it is. And the short passing game is an extension of the run, honestly, the way teams use it. So, that's where I think Jarvis Landry could feast, and he's pretty cheap, in my opinion, too, coming off the injury. Donovan Peoples-Jones got that crazy Hail Mary catch, so don't forget about that. He had 2 touchdowns, but one of them was an insane, throw and catch at the end of the half. So just keep that in mind. But he's a good player. Tony, so let's start here. What are we doing with these quarterbacks? I think that's a question on this type of showdown slate where people are going to play the defenses. I think that means lesser ownership on one of these two quarterbacks, maybe both in general. They'll still have ownership, but people like the under. I'm sure people like the sluggish style of game if they're playing defenses, kickers, all that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need the quarterbacks, but like always in a low scoring game, they're the most likely, obviously, to kind of hit in there and make the team. So I don't know, just looking through it. I mean, you got Teddy at $11K and you got Keenum $1,600 cheaper than that at $9,400. And you just look at these projections, and it's crazy how I don't know the last time I've seen a game where the highest projection in the game is 15. That's insane almost, where not a single dude projected higher than that. And we only got 5 dudes projected in double digits. I mean, it feels very, very low. So like always, I think we just need to pick a path, either go both of these guys are dudes that aren't going to move that much. So right away, I set the rule with both of them. If you play them, obviously in the captain, you're going to want two pass catchers or more with them, or we can go with the running game. I mean, I don't mind going with a guy like your boy Javonte, where if I played Javonte, say we played Javonte captain, I would just run it back with the other quarterback and fade Teddy, obviously. So you can already start building in a bunch of rules with a game like this, where if we go with our boy D'Ernest, maybe and you can play both backs too. Like both teams have two backs. You got obviously Javonte and Melvin Gordon, and then you got D'Ernest and what's the other Cleveland? Felton, this Felton dude.
Felton.
So yeah, so you got two both ways. So you can almost set a rule naturally where the team with the two running backs, you fade the quarterback and go the opposite way with a quarterback and two pass catchers, where sounds basic, I know, but a lot of people don't do those basic fundamental stacking things, and it might not hit. Sure, it might not. Maybe it's an all-running game. It's ugly. Whoever gets the touchdowns. But like Tambo does and talks about every week, you can do buckets where you do 25% like this. Do 25% where you play all four running backs and fade both quarterbacks and root on low. If I did play all running backs, though, and no quarterbacks, that would be the only time I would consider a defense just in a build like that where it's super low scoring and you just want the touchdowns. But I mean, just on the surface, I like the Denver passing game a little bit better than the Cleveland passing game. And I mean, Cleveland loves to run the ball naturally. So just on the surface, I do like the Javonte play. But if I had to pick, it would be the Cleveland running game and the Denver passing game a little bit more than the opposite. Although it's a slight edge because I like just mixing it, honestly. Two running backs, one running back, passing game the other way. That's what is that? That's four builds, right? Two Denver backs with the Cleveland, one Denver back with the Cleveland, and then so three because you'd have 2-1, so 6 builds total. 2-1-1 and then 2-1-1 the other way. 6 total builds, and I don't mind that as a starting point, honestly.
Yeah, we're on the same page here because that's how I want to start my teams. And the wild card is going to be this Felton kid because I remember to start the season, Nick Chubb got asked a question before the start of the season. They said, "Who are you most excited to see play football, like on your team?" And he said Felton. Like he didn't even pause. He was like, "I can't wait to see this kid on the field." And when he was on the field, he made some big plays for them early in the year. There was one like screen passer set up where he just took it he made one cut and just took it to the house and literally made some dude fell down. And I was like, oh, this kid's got something. But then the Johnson kid came in last year and had a decent game the first games with the Nick Chubb injury last year. So I think both these guys are in play. I think Javonte and Melvin are in play. It's just a matter of who I go with at captain. Like if I play Javonte at captain, I probably wouldn't play Melvin. I'd probably want Javonte to be the main guy, even though you probably could play Melvin in the flex. It's just like I would want Javonte to get all that look. I mean, but same thing with the Cleveland side. Like if I play Johnson.
I think that's what happens, though. I think a lot of people do that, though. That's why I think the edge is to play two, maybe, because everyone that plays Javonte isn't going to want to play Melvin. So you're
saying if you play Javonte and the captain, you would play Melvin in the flex?
Yeah, well, if I had to choose one build, I would, just because I don't think people do that. And if they get the ground game going, assuming like one of them does, obviously if one of them gets injured, the other one's going to crush. But if they don't get injured, they're going to split time. They've proven it. And they could both just totally crush if the ground game gets going.
Yeah. The way I think about it is like I probably would play both of them in the flex, and I'd play one of the Cleveland guys in the captain. But Tambo, what do you think about the run game specifically?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways you can go about it. If talking about it up front here, chopping it out this week, I actually like doing it a couple ways for this game. I would do it 4 ways. I would do like 20%. I'll tell you this right now. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a close game. I think there's an opportunity when we see this 1.5 point line that won't change for whatever reason. I think it's sometimes when there's confusion that can lead to just putting it out there. Everyone picks their side. They get pretty balanced action, which is what the books are looking for. And then you could just see one side totally stomp. So I'm definitely going to build for Denver to get there and just crush. Both these teams are bad, in my opinion, and they're at their worst in most cases. So I would say you can build it that way, 20% Denver smash, 20% Cleveland smash, and then I'd go for the close game, 30% to the over, 30% to the under. So I can definitely have some running backs together. I could definitely go Javonte in the captain, have Melvin Gordon, and I know they eat into each other, but if it's the only thing that team does, and I think it makes even more sense for the Cleveland side. If you think about that Cleveland side, we always see Chubb and Hunt, and it's not just because Chubb and Hunt are really good. They are, but obviously the line has to do work for them. They have to be able to move the ball and do certain things. You mentioned Landry can move the ball and go, move the chains, but those guys might do the bulk of the work. And then, of course, K. Fallick brought it up in the chat just now. They brought up John Kelly from the practice squad. So he's sitting there pretty cheap. Some projection sites actually are giving him a number. So he may pop into some of your lineups tonight. That's more where I would look to take a line. But the more interesting one for me is the Felton one that Big T brought up. And you mentioned a few things on it, JSU. That quote I didn't even know about. That's interesting. But it was just, what was it, last week? When Chubb was the nut play of the slate? Mind you, he wasn't, but what everyone had him down for. And everyone was talking about Felton just then. So if you are going to see flop leg of any kind, I would think tonight would be the night where Dearness Johnson pops huge. You've got Felton sitting there. Even people like I just mentioned, K. Fallick just mentioned the John Kelly thing. Felton was the guy everyone wanted to play as the sneaky play over Chubb when Chubb was, over Hunt. I keep mixing these two up everywhere I go. When Hunt was in for Chubb, everyone was saying play Hunt, but anyone who was trying to be sneaky was saying play Felton. Maybe Felton goes overlooked here, and he's a guy you talked about, even Chubb mentioning he wanted to see him play. So I think he's the interesting one here to go down to.
Yeah, the John Kelly thing. So K. Fallick put if you're not in the Discord, the live show chat, he just put John Kelly brought up from Browns practice squad today, has 170 total yards in 3 preseason games, freshest guy on the field, could be something to watch for Thursday night. So just throwing it out there. I think he's min price too on DraftKings, if I'm correct. I think he's 200 on DK. Yep. So someone, I guess, Tony, you talk about it a ton where you don't need that much from your 200. I just don't know if it's a slate where you need to even go that cheap. But if he were to have a decent role, then yeah, I mean.
Or if it's just possible. Super low scoring where you need the touchdowns and these guys at the top still are expensive where if you wanted to just play the top guys, I don't have the DK page open, but if you just played like Teddy and Sutton and Keenum and like these top dudes and you had to play John Kelly to do it, like he could get in the winner with not much production just because of what it gets you. If it's a low scoring game, if it turns into more scoring, you have a lot harder time with it if he doesn't do anything. But if it's low scoring, it could be one drive. He gets one drive in there, picks up 20 yards, somehow maybe scores. Like he could have a chance to pop in there. I don't hate builds on slates like this either, where you could play a lot of running backs in this game. So I have the screen share up. I'm not really doing anything crazy with it, but these 5 running backs, Dearness, the 4 and John Kelly, those 5, you can do some crazy stuff in Showdown where you just say, give me 4 of these guys. Don't build it totally script dependent. Say, give me 4 running backs of these 5. Whatever else falls, that just gives you different builds. And then all you're rooting on is the opposite of what we usually root on. Just give me all the rushing touchdowns, no passing touchdowns. In the wind, maybe it gets a little rainy. Who knows? Just get all the touchdowns, right? We could set a build where we do that. That's the fun part about Showdown that I don't think Tambo does a great job of explaining it too when he does this. Just pick different scripts and go with it. That's what Showdown is. Showdown is not pumping in projections and just running your optimizer. That is not how you play Showdown. And
especially on a slate like this, Tony, where you said these guys are all projected. You said how many guys are projected under 10 points?
Everybody's got a bad projection.
So you're saying that we're splitting hairs on a lot of these plays.
Basically, correct? I'm saying if you get a touchdown tonight, you have a very good chance at being in the winner. So, and that should tell you just to be different. If you guaranteed me 150 unique teams tonight, well, I'd always take that on Showdown. But even more so tonight, give me the uniques tonight. I don't want to be duplicated on a slate like this. I want to be unique to where we got $1 million up top. If there's ever been a slate to be different, you want to talk about being different? Project John Kelly for more points than Dearness Johnson. Just flip-flop them like Tambo always talks about. Yeah, of course. But do any of us actually know? Cleveland's got Super Bowl aspirations. Maybe they do just bring fresh legs in for a week and let them get 25 carries. Why can't they? Because the projection tells us. The people making the projections are just like us. They don't freaking know any more than we do. You got to take guesses. Sure, it probably won't happen. John Kelly will probably be the third string. He'll probably get 5, 6 carries, 4 carries. But who knows? Maybe they don't do that. Maybe they give him all the work and we project him higher. Just do something different and just take a stance with it.
You know, in games like moving on, because I agree with you, the running backs. I love the running back route, but just moving on here to other positions like wide receiver. We talked about the quarterbacks a little bit. Wide receiver, I think it's the hardest on this slate because
I hate
on
it.
both these teams, after like the number one guy, like Cortland Sutton, I think Cortland Sutton is a beast. Like he's a good receiver. Tim Patrick, I will say, is a lot more steady than you would think. He's somehow he always seems to give you like 10. And on this slate, if you get 10 from like, I'd be happy. And just looking at what Tim Patrick does, the numbers aren't crazy, but they're there. 4, 4, 5, 6, 9, 6 targets. That's the last 6 weeks. That's consistency right there. Like, you know, and he's gotten you double-digit fantasy points in every single game but one, which was against Baltimore. Baltimore is a tough team. So I don't know, like when we talk about showdown slates, like he's someone who I don't know if a ton of people are going to play, but I kind of see him as a safe play just from the standpoint that the guy seems to get open. Teddy seems to like him a little bit. And with so many guys out like Judy and Hamler, I don't know. If you told me this guy had a really good shot to get me 10 fantasy points and be on my team, I'd be happy on this slate. Tambo, what do you think?
Yeah, I liked him, Patrick. I liked him even before. I think it was always a good play, even when people were playing Hamler, a guy to go to. So he makes sense. Sutton will be extremely popular and for good reason. The guy, it's if you're locking in points tonight and trying to get the raw points again, anything can happen, but he's just that much more likely. He's that good. You have the money. To me, he's a great play. So if you want to get different, I'm going to try and get different elsewhere with those running backs, not playing defenses, switching it up at captains and doing stuff like that. More likely to do that way. I think that you mentioned earlier, the quarterbacks will be lower owned. So you'll have to go about it a bit of a different way. But I also think you could do something like use Sutton at the captain and then don't use his quarterback, even though that's a rule people most naturally set. If it's going to be that sort of low scoring script I'm talking about, he may just rack it up on targets, points, yardage, and a touchdown and do more than enough where Denver's not necessarily as involved or the rest of the game is based around run game and guys getting in the box that way where it still is enough points to matter. Again, you need crazy stuff to happen in some cases, but we've definitely seen this in the past. It can work. It can also work. We've seen it where you use one guy, a 1-5 build has worked a few times now. Kamara with a bunch of the other side. Last year, it was a Marquise Brown with 5 Pittsburgh guys. I remember that shift the slate for 6 figures plus because you just had them get there as the one guy from their team. I mean, beyond Sutton and Fant, we talked a little bit about Javonte earlier and him and Gordon splitting it and things like that. Denver is not that strong of a side beyond Sutton and Fant. I just think it's a way you could go about it and be a little bit different. Landry, I think, like you said earlier, JSU just makes a lot of sense because think about it too. Chubb was getting targets. Some of those can go to Landry. OBJ was getting targets. Some of those can go, assuming that he's healthy based on them. Even last week, they were talking about activating him then, and they just didn't fully go with it. Now they're all in, and he's playing. So I think he makes a lot of sense. He'll be popular, but still, I like that a little bit more than chasing like a Peoples Jones. But down the board, it's what about Keenum with his guys? Like, who's he going to be comfortable with? Do you think that he's going to roll to here? Because you never know. Like, Anthony Schwartz is down there, Higgins, John Brown for the Denver side. You've got other guys down at the bottom that you could take shots with.
Yeah, I mean, Schwartz, if people remember when Odell was hurt in the beginning of the year, Schwartz was getting a lot of the deep plays, like down the field. And with the wind, with the way Cleveland is known to want to play and run the football, I mean, I think it would be sharp as hell for the Cleveland side to come out in the first play of the game, play action pass down the field. Just take a friggin' shot. Doesn't matter. But like, those linebackers are going to be playing the run game. And I think like Cleveland attacking them that way and taking a few shots, being aggressive like that is going to be key for them in this game, I think, to win, and key for their run game as well. If they can hit on like one or two of those. And the guy is Schwartz, I think. I think Schwartz makes a lot of sense here and is cheap for just like a deep ball opportunity. And you can say, I don't want to play, those deep guys because of the wind or whatever. I mean, there was wind last week in the game, and Kyler still had 4 touchdowns. Like, I'm not factoring in the wind as much as maybe a lot of people are. I do agree that both teams want to run the football, but Tambo, like you said too, Cortland Sutton could easily be the winner and captain and not play the quarterback, because he could just be an 8 reception, 110 yards. Maybe he gets in the box once, but maybe that's only Teddy's only touchdown. Maybe he doesn't get a touchdown and the game is, not a high scoring game and he's still the winner. Like that.
Yeah, and it works with a guy. It works on the other side too with a guy like Landry. Like, again, if you've got this script where it's going to be a little bit lower scoring game, he can rack up 9 catches for 105 and a touchdown. And you say, well, if it's low scoring, then maybe the touchdown from their quarterback matters too. It could, maybe it does. I'm just saying, when you've got other guys that can get there in other ways, maybe they win by 3 touchdowns and it's 21-0. And he just racks them up, and then the running backs do all the rest of the work, and a kicker, and you have to have a guy from the other side. So really quickly it can get there where it doesn't always necessarily have to be in there. But I like it with guys that can just rack it up in more ways than one, but don't necessarily mean that the quarterback went off for 30 points or something, that you just have to have them.
Yep, I agree with you. Landry, Sutton. Tony, what do you think about these wide receivers before we move down to the cheapies?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I'm not super high on these guys, but I do agree. A lot of them have good floors. Like, I think a lot of them end up with like 8 to 10 points. I still have it in my mind that I think we might see more scoring tonight than people think. I just looking at the players, looking at how weak the defenses have been, I'm not going to be shocked if we actually see some points tonight. So I just wanted to show them too real quick, because the easiest path to ship tonight is exactly what Tambo said. Go 5-1 instead of 3-3. A lot of people are going to play 3-3, 4-2. So this is, I can show super quick. What I would do is first, just, this is in HQ for the ones of you that don't see it, but just sort by team in the flex and just literally put them in a group like this, click new group, and just put all of them in group A. Just like this. This is a super easy process that will let you get some 5-1s without having to go too far out of the box. And then after you do, this is the flex. Obviously there's a captain spot too. So come to the captain, decide who from Cleveland we would even want as a captain. I mean, you only want probably some of these better guys, at least on this slate. I don't think you really want to go. So put these guys in there too. Group A. And then you're going to come to the other side, Denver, same exact thing. See who you want for captains, just the top guys, really. You don't really want to go. At least I don't want. If you, whoever you want, put them in here. But just to show the example, now do a new group, put them in group B. Exact same thing. It'll be interesting to see what kind of teams we get too as we run this. But go to flex, same exact thing. I don't have as many Denver guys, so there must be more Cleveland guys in play for me. B. And then, so we got them all in our player groups, and then super easy. We'll just go, just to start with, we got those teasers on Denver. So we'll go 5 Denver, just like this, min 5, and then just go back to Cleveland and just go 1. And let's see what kind of builds it gives us here. See how they look. I mean, what we would actually, I could do it. I'll show you just how Tambo would do it too. Say we're running 150. Let's run 30 5-1s of Denver. So here's our 30. Type of teams we get: Teddy, Hinton, Javante, Sutton, Fant, DeErnest. Nice little simple 5-1. We can add more rules to it as we go, but this is just to show people how to do it. So we got 30 of these. All you're going to do is come right here, click save lineups. Now we got 30 saved of our Broncos. Now Tambo comes back in here, build player groups, flips it. We're going to go 5 Cleveland now. 1 Denver now. Oh, click this button first. Same thing. 30 teams.
Yeah.
Right there. Same thing. Keenum, Felton, both running backs. Well, that's actually a nice team. Teddy, the only Broncos guy. I like that. But just click save lineups. Now we got 60. You just click this save 60. We got all of them together. You can see all our stuff. That took me like 3 minutes to get a bunch of 5-1 stacks. If you have more rules in there, and then all you got to do, if you want to do other ones, just come back in player groups, disable these 2 groups, because you're not going to want it in different types of builds, and you can always come back to it. But once you got these in there, you can always utilize them if you need quick 5-1 teams. And like Tambo said, the easiest way to ship tonight is go 5-1, because people aren't going to do it in a close spread.
Yeah. Too many people do this, Tony. They'll say, oh, Denver, Cleveland, 2 shitty teams equals a shitty game where it has to be like a 3-3 because they're so bad that it's got to be equally bad. But that's just not true, right? You're going to pop it off. You could say they could be so bad, but one team could decide to show up and absolutely hammer that other very bad team, where then the 5-1 comes in play both ways. And whichever team shows up, you could say, some people say, oh shit, I have no idea how Cleveland showed up tonight and smashed Denver. They had all those guys out, but then they did, and Denver quit on their coach, and now a 5-1 shipping it with Cleveland side. And you got 30 of those builds when most people maybe put 1 or 2 in just to try and cover their ass. Yep. It's not going to work. You got 30 of them.
So we got a question quick. Someone saying, can you touch on Yahoo? I know we do this every single time. I mean, just really pulling up Yahoo real quick. I mean, all these guys are cheap for the most part anyways. You got a lot of cheap guys. I think it's going to be it's literally one of those days where you could play like the top 5 price guys. So I think in Yahoo, it's going to be a very interesting slate from that standpoint, where you can literally fit anyone you want. It's just a matter of hitting the right combo.
You can literally fit whoever you want.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah. So it's going to, in a way though, it kind of makes it easier where people just jam in those guys at the top. And we talked about it, like the projected guys at the top, there's only a few of them that are double digit projected. And then after that, we're talking about under 10 points projected for most of these guys in this game. There can't be a lot of, there's not that big of a difference between some of them, even though you'll see an ownership difference for sure.
These are the best slates though. I wish every slate like this, you could play whoever you want, because these freaking cash donkeys just go in there and they play the best dudes, and it gives us tournament people so much cleaner of a path where we don't have to worry about everyone that comes in and plays both quarterbacks and both starting running backs and Sutton. Like we don't have to, we can go a different path. And you want to talk about being different? Do the 4-1 on Yahoo that we just talked about.
Yeah.
And don't play one of the studs, and you're going to be in great shape with that. I mean, it's just a different build, and you got to do that.
No cash donkey, but there's a cash goat just joined us, and
GPP just came in.
I didn't even know I was coming here, and I'm here. I just appeared. It's good to see you guys.
This is the NFL Showdown show. What do you got? Give us the Showdown winners.
What a disaster of a game! First off, I mean, it's got to be this has got to be the worst possible situation tonight, right? I mean, you got the quarterback on FanDuel, 5K. I guess the one thing, I'm sure you guys talked about it a ton, but man, you could leave a massive chunk of salary on the table and end up on the winner tonight, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys talked about that. I mean, the salaries are just low.
Yeah. Two things to that. I would add one for sure.
Ears were ringing though. Hold on, Tambo. I thought Hoop's ears were ringing, and that's why he came in. Tony's over here talking about cash people, and then Hoop just jumps in. I thought he was about to go in on people.
Hoop doesn't play cash anymore. Hoop retired from cash.
He's a GPP goat now. Yeah.
When you get dusted like the first 7 weeks of NFL, you got to go back to cash games. You got to go back to your roots a little bit, right?
I was going to say 2 things quick. One is, as far as Yahoo FanDuel go, I think this is one of the best slates for just applying what we said to whatever the price and the values are, because usually we're saying, okay, FanDuel MVP, you can go quarterback over there. This slate don't matter. You can play running back over there. You can play wide. It's just anything goes. It's not quite the same as when we have 2 elite quarterbacks or something like that, where they're just going to rack them up. Secondly, to Hoop's point, if this is the best, play this slate, even if you never play a lot of Showdown, put 20 lineups into whatever you can afford and learn that it's okay to leave money on the table, because you almost have to on this slate, but most people just never do in Showdown, even on regular games or better games, if you will. So I would definitely go and play this slate just to get comfortable with leaving salary for sure.
It's the best too. Yeah. You can play whoever you want on FanDuel and Yahoo, literally whoever you want. So what do you do as a tournament player? You don't play whoever you want. You go down and you play some other people. Everybody, all the, you know how many, say the top people do hit, say both quarterbacks, 2 running backs, and Sutton hit. Like, you're going to chop that thing 9 gazillion ways. Like, don't play it like, this is the night to try to ship something. Like we were saying, play, how is that freaking Kelly 5K too? Yeah, he's like 5K too on FanDuel. It's like, play a dude like that.
To me, the best thing you can do is in tournaments, go in there and not just say, okay, I'm going to cap my team with 1,000 salary left. Do like 3,000. Like do
like 7,000. Like treat it like it's Daytona and NASCAR. Like literally, you got a quarterback you could literally do this, Hoop. Like pretend Case Keenum is, how much is Bridgewater? You can literally leave 9,500. Yeah. Pretend Case Keenum's, pretend he's 14,500. Don't build any team that doesn't have him as 14,500 in there.
I agree with you. I mean, it's the biggest edge you're going to find on this slate on FanDuel. I mean, obviously it's different
and on Yahoo too. Yeah,
Yahoo's in the same situation. Their setups very similar to FanDuel. That's the easiest thing you can do to differentiate. It's super hard, obviously, on these sites. You only have 5 players that you can play, and a lot of times you can play basically whoever you want. The biggest edge you can do on these things, because it's hard. It's super hard to solo ship, and even if you leave a huge chunk, you probably won't. But the more unique lineups you get, the better chance you have of not necessarily solo shipping, but shipping with a lot less people. And it makes a big difference. I mean, just big chunks is what you got to be going for tonight. You have to. The winning lineup could be so random tonight. It could be so random.
I'm telling you right now, like I seriously think on FanDuel, I would leave 10,000 plus on every team. Like I built a team right now with both quarterbacks and 3 good players, and I have 14K left.
Yeah.
Like you might need to leave 15K on the table tonight to be different, but just do it. Freaking do it. Try to ship tonight. I'm calling it right now. I think there'll be a unique shipper on at least FanDuel and Yahoo. I don't know about DK's priced better, but on FanDuel and Yahoo, I think we see a unique winner on both of them.
I think Tambo hit it where he said this is the perfect slate to like test the waters on doing it, by the way.
Test some MME too, right? Get in there and play 20 teams and just have fun with it. Like, don't set a weird rule. Maybe you play all receivers. Maybe you play all running back. Do something weird and try to ship it.
Yeah, I mean, even I was playing around with it earlier, and obviously, okay, you look at the prices, and you're going to be forced. A lot of people will just play the quarterbacks, and who's the other guy? Like Cortland Sutton is pretty expensive on like a site like FanDuel. So a lot of people are going to play the quarterback, Sutton, and then, a couple other guys in this middle-ish tier range. Like if you have a lineup you like with Sutton, take his ass out and even just go down to like Noah Fant. It's like a $3,000 difference. People in most cases won't do that. They'll just, because you have the money, they'll just go up to Sutton, go down to Peoples Jones. I mean, you have to get unique with it today. I mean, when salary doesn't matter, it's just so easy to build teams where everyone will just fall into the same thing. It's a good opportunity to get way different than the field.
Yeah, I think personally on FanDuel, I'm going to just play 20 teams, and I'm going to make a rule like I'm not playing both quarterbacks together. Like I'm not going to play, because everyone's going to be able to do it. And I'm just going to make lineups that make sense to go with the game script. So if I don't play, Teddy Bridgewater, I might play Javonte and Melvin in that situation where I have a path to them scoring points, but it's not with both quarterbacks. Everyone's just going to jam in both quarterbacks. And that's just, if you want to be unique, you got to do something like that where you're not going to be, you're going to be for sure.
And Sutton, like everyone's going to play Sutton too, for sure.
Yeah. I initially said 3,000. I just pulled it up, and like the best team I think for cash games has like 8,000 left on the table. Like the quarterbacks.
If you play the top 5 dudes, it's 1,500 left.
Yeah. So we got to set that like 10,000, like leave 10,000 at least on the table and just roll with it.
All right.
I love
so
it.
the producer Simon is telling me we got to wrap it up because we do have the NBA Hardwood show with Hoop, AP, and Mangone. That'll be coming up any minute. So check that out. And then we got the final countdown show with Holden, DC, and Bobby Gomes. So check them out. We'll have all our cores, playbooks,
3
cash
sports
chart.
tonight too. We got baseball
Yeah.
tonight. I'll have a player pull up for baseball and football tonight. So, and our basketball course. So it's a fun
And by
night,
the way,
fun little Thursday.
I know you guys probably haven't had a chance to listen to it, and we got to get out of here. But we just recorded the cash game show, me, Mangone, and Holden. Interesting conversation that popped up. Apparently for Halloween, Holden is going to a huge swingers party in the Denver area, and he's trying to get Mangone to go with him. So I guess at this event,
I want that film work.
Yeah, so we gotta somehow get this to happen because
can they go back to Mangone's gymnasium to party afterwards?
No way anyone's going back to that place. I love you, Mangone, but no way anyone's going to that place.
Yeah, so we got to get this to happen. So Mangone, Holden, and Holden's, I guess, new lady going to a swingers.
Oh, the lady's going too, so he's not worried about Mangone sliding in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like all things are go at this event. I mean, how great would that be if like Mangone stole Holden's girl at a swingers party?
If he sent the picture of her on the air mattress in the gymnasium, I would literally die.
I mean, your success rate of an active workbench has to go down by like an infinite factor if you're bringing the ladies back to a fucking air mattress. All right, like your chances of a wet bench are really, really low.
Even if she's really into it, like right when that door opens and she sees the air mattress, she's gonna be like, "Ooh, we better reconsider."
All right. Enough on Mangone. We already went into him. Mangone said he appreciates my blood, sweat, and tears on my schedule work that Tony doesn't care about. And Mangone has the same issue. He does a schedule for the content, and he feels like everyone neglects that schedule too. So make sure to look at that schedule.
If Mangone gets it on the website, people will actually look at it. There's nothing on the website.
All right, that's it. Simon's yelling at me in my ear. We got to wrap it up. Enjoy the Hardwood show, guys. Enjoy the Up to Lock show for me, JSU, Tambo, Big T, and special guest Who. We'll see you guys later. Good luck.